Hello and welcome to Martin Lucas Investors channel. My name is Sensei and we are here today to bring you some very good news. The markets are reacting well. Everything is up unbelievable amounts. S&P 500 up 3%, Nasdaq up 4%. I'm here to tell you the news. What's going on today? Are we going to have a green or red day? Oh, I apologize for this. I've got a few sources of. There we go. Sorry, that was all fixed. I had a few different things going on there. I could hear myself. Yeah, so we're here to bring the charts, the news, everything in between. So thank you for tuning in. Please do hit that like button on your way in. Starting with just having a quick look at the markets before we go any further. The S&P 500 is up 2.96% at the time of this, and we've got the Nasdaq 100 up 3.9%. Slight sell-off over the last 15 minutes, but very much up. I mean, you can see that massive candle when that news came out. What is the news? Well, let's get into the news before we come back to the charts. One piece of news that we have here is, let's listen into this.
Process. We have reached an agreement on a 90-day pause and substantially moved down the tariff levels. Both sides on the reciprocal tariffs will move their tariffs down 115%. We had very robust discussions. Both sides showed great respect to what was a very.
Both sides bringing it down by 115%. Along with that news last night, we covered that US President Trump is to sign an executive order cutting prescription drugs by up to 80%. We're going to have more news on that today as well. But the main story of today is United States cuts tariffs on Chinese goods from 145% to 30%. China lowers tariffs on US from 125% to 10%, all for 90 days. While they have further discussions. So I'm also going to bring you this from the BBC, listening to this.
We have reached an agreement on a 90-day pause and substantially.
There it is. That's the same thing we listened to. That is the moment where the S&P 500 and the global stock market rallied. I mean, you could just look at the candle it put in. The exact moment that news came out, we saw in a matter of 15 minutes the the Nasdaq move up 1.5%. If we go over to the 5-minute candle as well, yeah, I mean, you can see massive. I mean, in 5 minutes, it went up 1%. The 5 minutes after went up 0.5%. You can see that news really, the market wasn't expecting it to come down that much. The reports we were getting was 50%, 60%. No one thought it would be that large. But let's dive into the news for today, and then we'll deep dive into that tariff news. Let's get one step ahead. Everyone's FOMOing in today. We want to stay one step ahead, so I'll bring you all the news as well as it breaks and the deeper analysis. So thank you everyone for tuning in. If you are in with us this morning, please do hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. But we're going to continue with the news story. A few other things as well today. We've got obviously the main news story is the US-China truce on tariffs. Markets are in risk on mode. Dollar is up, gold and treasuries fall. We are down. I mean, this is what we were saying last night before the futures opened. Gold is going to be down. How much is it down? It's down 3.26%. It's a massive, massive red day on gold, as expected. Double top, risk on. It did need to cool off. Plus, people are selling gold because there's no more uncertainty or as much uncertainty, and people want to get back to risk on. So you can see gold is selling off today, down 3.25%. Trump to slash drug prices. Up to 80%. Big pharma stocks under pressure. We've got Pfizer down 2.2% and Eli Lilly down 2.7%. We've got Chinese battery giant Cat L begins investor orders for large listing of the year in Hong Kong, a big signal for the EV sector globally. And then obesity drug slowdown, Eli Lilly versus Novo Nordics. Zepbound outperforms Wegovy in head-to-head trials, helping Lilly to take the lead in obesity drug market. Big movers in the market today: Tesla up 7.7%, Amazon up 7.6%, Apple up 6.2%, Meta up 6.8%, Nvidia up 5%, Alphabet up 3.6%, Microsoft up 1.6%. We've got chip sector up, Marvel 7.6%, Micron 6.6%, AMD 5.5%, ARM 4.7%. We've got consumer brands with Chinese exposure rallying: Nike, Amazon, Estee Lauder, Elf Beauty, all up over 5%. We've got the global shipping boom as well, for 13% for Maersk, Zim up 14%, UPS up 4.5%, FedEx up 3%. And then the pharmaceutical markets, as we said last night, they are down today. We will get onto XRP very, very shortly. Got a few key dates this week. We've got Mark Carney names new Canadian cabinet. Plus, today we're going to be covering Trump's executive signing order. We've got Trump visiting the Middle East tomorrow. We've got inflation data for Europe, for many places in Europe, China, Japan and Argentina on Wednesday. Thursday we have Jerome Powell speaking US retail sales and UK GDP. And Friday we've got Japanese GDP. We've also got the news of the new US-China tariff agreement, key points and implications. We've done deep research on this, and I'll be bringing that to you very shortly. Before we get into that, one final look. Let's see what the crypto markets are doing now. Obviously, they had their pump before any of this happened on Saturday, and now we've got XRP pumping, trying to break $2.50. We might get that this stream. XRP is trying to break out. It is pumping. Let's see if we can get it back above $2.50. We've got highs. We nearly have made highs of the last few months. XRP is trying to pump breakout right now. Above $2.50 would be amazing for XRP. We're going to keep an eye on that as well. Looks like the crypto markets are also waking up now, so that is very exciting. Let's get to your comments. Let's do a deep analysis on the China deal. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you haven't done already, please do hit that like button. We've got 180 people watching. We can get 100 likes in seconds. So hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Let's have a look at your comments and then we'll go into the deep research. Good morning. James was here. Mike is here. James Power, who couldn't sleep last night. Sheesh. We've big pumps today. I thought Martyn would be in a good mood today. Congratulations. Teamwork makes the dream work. 60,000, I should say. So I bought my first house for 40,000. I just want a house and a half, says Martyn Lucas, investor. We'll be going over to Martyn in just under an hour for the opening bell stream. He will have some more perspective on this. Mike, if you fancy coming over to UK, can you help me build a house in the future, says James. SBC up big in the pre-market. Yes, I did have a look at it this morning. It is up, I think, over 5%, isn't it? So that's good. Just seeing if there's any other comments. Hello, all AX is in the chat. 2008 Blondie is in the chat. XRP. Kent Paranormal is here saying eggs. We all green. Yes, we are. Solid green, says Logan. I'm up 7% today. What day to be a investor? That is right, Dylan. If we missed anything else, XRP pumping. Yes, we've just covered that. Sensei, I've been loving your streams. I was just wondering, do you do this full time now and quit your job? If so, congrats. I'm loving the streams. Yes, I have quit my job. This is my main source of job. This is what I'm doing now. Plus just a few other things outside. But yeah, I did quit my job a couple weeks ago. Corey Real is here. Jenny B is here. Good morning. Jim Ricketts is here. Okay, everyone is in the show. Let's get into the news. XRP, we're waiting for a breakout of $2.50. I mean, it's looking very strong. I don't doubt that can happen today. And then it'll be a very quick move up to $2.60. I think we've got another 6% move in store for us once we break $2.50, and that can happen very, very quickly. Big movers in the market today is Casper. Dogecoin is making a comeback. Shiba Inu's up 7%. We'll come on to the crypto markets first. Let's go back to the US markets, selling off slightly, nothing major, still up 3% pre-market on the S&P 500, up 3.8% on the Nasdaq. What we're going to do is read this. This is deep research. This is the details behind everything. This is what most investors won't be looking at. They'll just be looking at the headlines, but we want to get a bit more uh, into the weeds of it and exactly what's going on to get more prepared. Tariff rollbacks and truce details. So the tariffs are paused for 90. We can do this as let's do it as a quick video. Breaking news on Martyn Lucas Investors channel. We've got the news on the China deal. I'm going to explain exactly the details of that deal, what's going on. Markets are up 4-5% today. Crypto markets are up, but we want to see what the underlying details of that deal is. So let's get straight into it. So tariff rollbacks and truce details. Tariff pause for 90 days. The US and China announced a 90-day truce in their trade war. Both sides will temporarily roll back a large portion of their tariffs imposed this year while negotiations continue. So the deal is better than expected for the markets. It's a 90-day pause, bringing it down about 120, bringing it down around 125%. No, 135% actually, which is much better than expected. We were expecting a 60% tariff to continue, much lower than expected, but it's also only a 90-day truce. Going for dramatic tariff cuts, the US agreed to slash extra tariffs on Chinese imports from 140% or 145% down to 30%. And China will cut its retaliatory duties on the US goods from 125% down to 10%. These steep reductions take effect immediately and last for the 90-day negotiation period. The tariff relief is broad-based, covering most goods exchanged between the two countries, from agricultural commodities to tech products and consumer manufacturers, everything across the board. Unlike earlier trade deals, this truce did not include sector-specific tariffs. The cuts apply across the board rather than exempting particular industries. In effect, about 91% of tariffs were cancelled and another 24% suspended for 90 days, according to Chinese Ministry of Commerce, leaving only a small 10% tariff in place on each side. Previous tariffs remain. Importantly, the agreement only unwinds the latest escalations, tariffs and trade barriers from before April of 2025, including those dating back to Trump's first term, and measures like the end of de minimis duty exemptions on low value packages are still in effect. In other words, China will still face about a 30% US import tariff when older duties are counted, and certain US tariffs on steel, aluminium, etc. remain untouched. So anything before these new set of tariffs in April still remain. This is not affecting them, but we've got a 90-day suspension on all tariffs across the board. No exemptions, no special cars, no special AI. It's everything across the board. That's what's so great about this deal. Outstanding issues and unresolved disputes. Temporary nature. Both sides emphasize that this is a temporary pause, not a final settlement. The tariff cuts last 90 days. Without further agreements, tariffs could snap back afterwards. Analysts note the clock is ticking now on talks to reach a more lasting deal. Good for now, but let's look in the future. What's going to happen in 90 days' time? There is a possibility here that the markets will rally and investors will take profits because we're getting close to the 90 days, and the market will start pricing that 90-day tariff uncertainty again. So that's just a side note there. Structural issues omitted. The core structural disputes that fueled the trade war, such as China's industrial subsidies, intellectual property practices, and technology transfer policies, were not resolved in this truce. US officials confirmed the deal significantly lowered tariffs without any concessions on these deeper issues. The lack of substantive reform in the agreement is one reason it's seen as a tactical pause, not a final deal, and those structural frictions will likely re-emerge in negotiations ahead. A lot of underlying problems still. Um, Enforcement and detail lacking. The joint statement was short on specifics about enforcement or next steps. It affirmed the importance of the US-China trade, that talks will continue, but did not define what a successful long-term deal would look like. The ambiguity leaves questions about how the two sides will address unresolved issues in the next 3 months. Look, the deal, it seems like, wasn't there to address all these issues that they're having. The deal was there to give hope to the markets, to have a substantial ceasefire, if you want to call it, a 90-day pause to see what negotiations can come out of it. But we also don't know what negotiations do they want to take place. What does America want? What does China want? Does America actually, is the end game for America to have these increased tariffs in place so they can keep generating income? Or do they want to sort out other issues and keep tariffs low? We don't know what the ideal solution, what the ideal deal would be for America. We don't have those. We don't have an idea of what that will be, and that will come in the future. Remaining Chinese countermeasures. China agreed to reverse many of its non-tariff retaliation moves implemented after April 2nd. For example, Beijing removed certain export restrictions and blacklists. It had added rare earth minerals to controlled export lists and blacklists some US tech and defense firm retaliation. Under the truce, those post-April measures will be are to be lifted, meaning Chinese authorities will halt anti-dumping probe into DuPont and remove recently blacklisted US company from trade bans. However, not all Chinese restrictions are gone. The deal covers only steps taken after April the 2nd, excluding a dozen US companies that were blacklisted in March and earlier antitrust investigation into Google. Rare earth uncertainties. A major sticking point in China's curb on rare earth exports, vital for US electronics and defense industries. Beijing's export listing requirement for certain rare earth elements announced amid trade wars applied to all countries, not just the US. So it's unclear if or how China will exempt the US under this deal. Chinese officials have not explicitly said they will lift rare earth restrictions, and US importers fear that they will still face a long and uncertain wait for export licenses without formal reversal. The issue remains unresolved and is a key question mark going forward. Rare earth uncertainties, that was. Political sticking points. Both governments will still need to tackle sensitive political issues tied to trade. Notably, President Trump has tied the tariff escalations to a national emergency over fentanyl. While officials called discussions on fentanyl very constructive, they occurred on separate tracks and did not yield concrete agreement yet. Other continuous items such as Chinese tech export controls and US export bans on Chinese tech firms were not settled by the tariff truce. These will require further negotiations at the political level. So remember, this all started because of the fentanyl issue. We have got no news on this fentanyl um, issue part of the deal. We've got news that they've had constructive discussions, but this all started because of fentanyl, and remember, that is not solved yet. All we have is a 90-day deal, which is great for the markets. That's what the markets want. It's great for trade, only for 90 days though, and the market will start thinking ahead at some point once the rallies continue. Maybe it's close to 90-day point where the markets start thinking about it. Maybe it's tomorrow. We don't know, but what I'm trying to show you here is there is a lot of underlying issues that haven't been solved. Technically speaking, on the charts, we're looking good. The Nasdaq is up 3.8%. The S&P 500 is up. The crypto market is up. Bitcoin back above 102,000, 101,000. XRP is trying to break $2.50. So the markets are looking fine, and this is kind of what the markets wanted to hear. But just diving deeper into it, nothing has been solved by the sounds of it. But nothing does need to be solved for the markets to react well and for it to be good news. So global market reactions, equities are soaring. Wall Street surged 2.7%, Nasdaq up 4%, Hong Kong Sang index closed up 3%. FTSE 100 opened high on improved sentiment. Dollar up, yen steadies. The dollar is up. The risk on is back. Gold is down. Uncertainty is out. Bond yields rise. Commodities are mixed. We've got oil prices up 3%. Agricultural commodity markets, which have been depressed by the trade war repeatedly, optimistic traders speculate that China may resume large purchases of US farm goods like soybeans and pork, potentially lifting up crop prices. So commodities are up as well. We've got the ceasefire in tariffs provide relief across many sectors through the degree of benefit differs by industry depending on how exposed it was to the US-China trade friction. Below is a sector by sector look at the impacts. Technology, electronics and tech manufacturing. This sector was amongst the hardest hit by tariffs and export curbs. So the truce is especially positive for tech. The removal of punishing duties will lower the cost of components and finished electronics that flow between the US and China. Notably, China agreed to lift its export restrictions on rare earth minerals, critical for making semiconductors, smartphones, electric vehicles, and military hardware, that had been imposed during the conflict. Those curbs have threatened US manufacturers of everything from missile systems to consumer gadgets, effectively an embargo on key inputs. Lifting them frees up supply for tech companies. That's where we've seen the tech industry really heading up. Additionally, Beijing will halt retaliation measures like blacklisting US tech firms imposed after April, allowing Chinese businesses to resume with firms like DuPont and certain US chip makers. On the US side, the drop from 145% to 30% tariffs means American electronics importers, computers, telecom equipment, etc., will face far less cost pressures. Companies like Apple, which relies on Chinese manufacturing, and major semiconductor firms are expected to benefit from both demand recovery and reduced component cost under this truce. Overall, the tech electronics industry gets a breather. Supply chains disrupted by the trade war can start normalizing, and the risk of further decoupling in tech is postponed for now. So we've got some clarity for the next 90 days, but again, trying to plan a little bit more in the future, which is what these companies want to do. Apple, Amazon, they want to know what's happening in 3 months. Do they increase their prices of their items? Do they make cuts in their staff? They want to know what's going to happen after the 90 days. They want a solid deal, whether it's bad or whether it's good. I think for them it will be more important to get a deal by the end of this 90 days that is clear and cut, so they can plan around it. You can check out the shop for the XRP merch. Anyway, agricultural farm goods. The agreement is welcome news for farmers and agricultural exporters. Chinese retaliatory tariffs on the US farm goods are dropping to 10% from punitive levels that were well over 30%, which should reopen the Chinese markets for American soybeans, corn, pork, and other products. During the trade war escalations, China had virtually halted purchases of US agriculture. A 34% tariff on all US imports imposed in April had shut down all US agricultural importers. As one trader noted, soybeans, the largest US export to China, were hit the hardest, with US soy prices plunging and Brazil filling the gap. Now, with the tariffs eased to a token of 10%, the US soy and grain exports become viable again in Chinese markets. We can expect China to at least partially resume buying US crops. Indeed, Chinese officials hinted at increasing purchase of farm goods as goodwill. This will bolster American farmers who have been accumulating new unsold stockpiles and should support prices for commodities like soybeans and pork. Agricultural equipment makers and traders, tractor manufacturers, agribusiness giants like Archer Daniels, Midland, and Bunge also stand to gain from the revival of export volumes. However, it's worth noting that the relief is temporary. Farmers are hopeful but still face uncertainty if the lasting trade deal isn't reached after 90 days. So, a big impact on US agriculture's US farmers. Lots of soybeans, it sounds like, were in storage. They've been accumulating unsold stockpiles, and now they get to offload again to America, to China, and China has hinted that they're going to increase purchases as a form of goodwill as well. So that will be great for US farmers. Consumer goods, and I will get to your comments in a second. Let me know your thoughts. Good. I've got a poll running as well. We need to look into the future. Is this the best deal ever, or is this just more uncertainty? Please do hit the like button if you're still with us. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. We cover all the news. We went live for an extra few hours yesterday to cover the China deal, the Trump tweet, and the futures open. So if you subscribe, you will get access to all the news live when it happens as well. So, consumer goods and retail. The truce averts many impending cost increases for consumer goods. The tariff rollbacks means items like apparel, footwear, toys, appliances, and electronics imported from China will not be subject to exorbitant duties. The 145% US tariff would have made consumer imports impossibly expensive. US retailers in particular are relieved. Companies like Walmart had warned of higher prices and were bracing for hits to earnings due to tariff surges. In fact, in April and early May, many US multinationals had cut forecasts or put investments on hold amid trade uncertainty. With tariffs reprieve, retailers restock inventories with far lower import costs than a week ago, which should help stabilize consumer prices. American consumers will likely avoid price hikes that were in the pipeline for everything from clothing to electronics. On the Chinese side, consumer goods companies also benefit. For instance, luxury brands and exporters. Shares of European luxury houses and Kering jumped 6 and 7% on the news, reflecting hopes that Chinese consumer demand for important spirits, fashion, etc., will pick up now that US-China relations are improving. Chinese manufacturing of consumer products, like from toys to textiles, also gets a lifeline. The US market becomes accessible again with only a 30% tariff, whereas a 145% was essentially prohibitive. This should boost manufacturing orders in China's coastal export hubs, improving prospects for companies that sell goods to the US. However, some categories like steel, aluminum, and electric vehicles still face separate US tariffs from past disputes. So, not every consumer product is in the clear. Overall, the truce is a reprieve for the consumer sector. It eases cost pressures on retailers, lifts confidence for global brands, and could support a rebound in trade dependent consumer businesses on both sides. Remember, so what I want to make clear is this is great news. What the market wanted, a pause. I mean, 145% tariffs being slashed to 35%, and even more on the other side of things, down to 15%. This is what the market wanted. This is better than what the market was expecting. The market was expecting a 50% tariff or something like that. That's why the markets are rallying. However, um, there is no. We don't have details, or there might not even be. I mean, we are going into a negotiation stage when we actually get the final deal. And these companies need to prepare for that final deal. And this pause is great. It temporarily relieves pressures. But it doesn't solve the issue of uncertainty, in my opinion. In my opinion, that issue is still going to be unresolved, and we need to be more focused on the negotiations that occur, and what happens close to that 90-day. Because in theory, what does Trump want? What is the best case scenario? Do they want to have high tariffs to increase income for America? Do they want to have lower tariffs? so that all these companies in America don't have to pay a lot more for products, and so the consumers in the US don't have to pay more. We don't know really what the end game is here. We don't know what the negotiation is going to look like, and neither does the market. But what we can tell right now is we've got good news for the short term, but the long term news is very much still up in the air. If they came out today with 30%, 40% tariffs, again, I'm not an economist, but I think that would be not as good short term for the markets. But in the long term, all companies can be prepared for this is the tariffs that are going to be in place long term, and this is the deal that we've come out with. The markets were still obviously like that, more than half a drop in the tariffs. But what we're getting from this report is very good news short term. We don't have any idea what this is going to look like in the longer term, and there is no specific details of is this this drop in tariffs here to stay after negotiations. We don't even know what the ideal situation is from Trump's team. Shipping and logistics, perhaps no sector felt the pinch of the trade war as directly as shipping and logistics, and accordingly, this truce sparked a major rally for transport companies with tariffs slashed and trade volume set to recover. Investors expect a rebound in cross Pacific shipping activity. Denmark's AP, the world's largest shipping container line, saw its stock surge 12% in the European trading. Other freight and logistic companies, from global shipping lines to air cargo carriers and port operators, should similarly benefit as the flow of goods resume. In the US, companies like FedEx and UPS are likely to see international shipping volumes improve if the Chinese export ramps up. Freight rates from container shippings, which had been depressed, may stabilize with rising demand. Supply chain logistics on both sides will get busier if orders that were frozen by uncertainty now get fulfilled. Essentially, the trade truce unblocks the logjam in global logistics. The cost burden and the unpredictability that snarled supply chains are reduced, allowing goods to move more freely. That said, 30% US tariffs are still in place, so volumes may not fully return to pre-trade war heights, but the direction is positive. The outsized jumping in shipping stocks like Maersk signals how crucial this deal is for logistics. It removes the looming threat of a complete collapse in US-China trade flows. So this is the experts' analysis, not a final deal. Um, Caution remains. Markets and analysts emphasize that the truce is only an interim step. Uncertainty is still elevated, noted Jan von Grich, chief analyst at Nordea, who remains skeptical until a lasting solution is struck. Remember, that's what I've been saying. Companies, analysts, um, business heads, CEOs, they're going to stay skeptical until a lasting solution is struck. We do not have a lasting solution. I think Wall Street, I don't know what the stock market will do. I don't know what market sentiment will do. It was good on the announcement, it's better than expected. But once this news is digested, there is an argument that the stock market won't return to all-time highs until we've got a better idea of what the lasting solution will look like. Remember, it's not all about China as well. I'm sure there'll be announcements from around the globe about trade deals, and that might bolster the stock market. And the stock market isn't always rational, so it could continue to all-time highs with the fact that there is no underlying deal, and at some point that will catch up to the stock markets. And if there isn't by the 90 days or close to 90 days, then we can have another major move towards downside. So that is a warning I'm putting out there, and a warning other industry heads are putting out. Uncertainty is still elevating, still skeptical until a lasting solution is struck. Many experts point out that because the agreement is temporary, risks could return if talks falter. There is only a 3-month temporary reduction in tariffs, the beginning of a long process, said Shiwing Zhang, chief economist at Pinpoint, adding that there is a great start, but not the end game. There is a consensus what the 90-day window puts pressures on negotiators to tackle their tougher issues. If they don't, we can see volatility return in a few months. Better than expected, a big de-escalation. Again, I hadn't read this yet, but that's what I've been saying. Despite caution, There's a broad agreement that the announcement tariff rollback exceeded expectations. This announcement is not only better than what we expected, but also better than the market would have expected back in March, wrote Deutsche Bank's strategist in a note highlighting the surprise of such a steep cut. Investors have braced for only partial or cosmetic relief, and instead, both sides delivered a dramatic scale down, 115 percentage points. Such a sharp U-turn by the US on tariffs is quite the surprise, observe Irene Pameticus of AFS Group, referring to Washington's unexpectedly rapid climb down from sky-high tariffs. The magnitude of this de-escalation, undoing much of the spring tariff hikes, is taken as a strong positive signal that both sides earnestly want to ease tensions. China seen as the winner. A number of economists argue that China came out ahead in this round. The US essentially dropped most of its new tariffs without securing concrete concessions beyond promises to keep talking. The agreement, which significantly lowers tariffs without any concessions, is likely to be viewed as as a particular victory for China. Ling Song, Greater China chief economist at ING. Indeed, Beijing achieved relief from 125% down to 10%, allowing exports to flow again, while commitments in return, like buying US goods or structural reforms, remain vague. This doesn't mean US got nothing. It did get a pause on Chinese retaliation, but but in relative terms, analysts see the balance of concessions tilting towards China's favour in this truce. So that's what they're saying. China is coming out ahead. Markets bet trade war won't re-escalate. The market's reaction, stocks up and haven assets down, indicates that investors expect the worst of the US-China trade war to be over. Kenneth Brook, a strategist at Societe Generale, noted that the tariff cuts were a clear vote by market in favor of riskier assets, a step in the right direction for growth. Some even question whether Washington can revert to hardline tactics after this. How can Trump credibly raise tariffs when the 90-day pause ends? Pettit mused, arguing that after such a rapid drawdown, it would be politically difficult to hike tariffs back up. The sentiment implies that global markets are pricing in a lasting detonate, or at least that any future negotiations will avoid returning to extremes seen earlier this year. I'm trying to get my head around this because it's an interesting thing that's occurred. It's much larger cuts than anyone has ever seen, that anyone was expecting. We don't have any details of what the negotiations are going to look like. We don't know what the end game is for what Trump actually wants or what China is going to agree to. Um, but also we've got markets rallying, which obviously they're taking it well. It's a surprise in the better direction. What's going to happen in 90 days? Who knows? But as this person has said, it would be strange for Trump to come out and raise tariffs by a large degree at the end of the 90-day pause. So again, that's the sentiment that's propping the markets up at the moment. Next steps: cautious optimism. Going forward, experts say that the focus shifts to whether the US and China can draft a broader agreement in the 90-day window. US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent called the Geneva talks a breakthrough and struck an upbeat tone, reporting substantial progress and a total reset in a friendly and constructive manner. Analysts generally expect further talks to proceed given this momentum. There is even speculation that this truce would pave the way for other trade deals, for example, easing US trade frictions with Europe now that the China situation is cooling. However, seasoned observers still urge caution. Follow through matters more than headlines, one strategist said, noting that the deal is short on detail and it's unclear what acceptable outcome looks like for either side. Exactly what I've been saying. In sum, the agreement significantly lowered the temperature of the trade conflict and buoyant global markets in the short term, but is not yet a comprehensive peace. The coming 90 days will be crucial as both nations attempt to negotiate on thorny issues and turn this temporary tariff reprieve into a lasting resolution. Wow. Now that was a in-depth article and deep research. My thoughts on that would very much be what's going to happen. It's great short term. We've seen markets rallying better than expected. It sets a good precedent for wider deals. We've got XRP breaking out. We've got markets going up, but at the same time, there would be a lot of traders. A lot of money that came in at the lows of this market, exactly when we were looking to buy as well, when we did that long live stream, that were bought down there, and they've seen this deal, they've seen the markets pump 4%, and they'll be looking to take profits. I've got one final line in the sand for the Nasdaq and S&P 500. If we get back above there, then we've got a good shot at all-time highs. But remember, there'll be people that are looking at this and saying this is not enough. We don't have enough details. They've made 28% in 37 days, and they will be looking to exit the market. So there is a little warning. In general, it is good. Just giving you the warning out there that there's a lot of underlying issues that haven't been solved, and we don't have any clarity. And it's not just about us, it's about the US companies, it's about all those different sectors not having clarity either. Do tune in with us. We'll be covering all the news as it comes. Once we digest this, we'll give you more thoughts. Martyn's going to go live at the opening bell. He's going to give you more thoughts. But until next time, there'll be a video up here for you to watch, a video up here. Take care of yourselves and each other. So that'll be a video that's coming out later. Let's go to your comments and your responses to this. I'm going to keep an eye on XRP because it looks like XRP wants to break out while looking at your comments. So let me keep an eye on, where has it gone? XRP, $2.49. We've got highs. We've got the highest price in XRP since March the 24th. Let me bring that on screen. XRP is trying to break out of $2.50. It is very close. Highest prices in a very long time. Here goes XRP. There goes XRP. Here we go. Multi-month highs. Let's have a look at your comments while having a look at XRP. Sensei, I'm loving your streams. Thank you very much. XRP is breaking resistance. Yes. Good morning. Good morning. Everyone's in the show. If you have just tuned in, please do hit the like button. Don't go anywhere because we're going to take you straight to Martyn in about 10 minutes' time. He is up massively. I'll be interested to see what he's thinking as well. His thoughts on it all. Let's keep watching XRP. It's up. It just touched $2.50, and it's trying to break it. It will be exciting once that $2.50 mark breaks any second now. Best way to start the day. Brilliant, says Jim Ricketts. Thank you, Jim. Kent Paranormal and Urbex is here. Smash the likes. Is the gold bull market over? That is not confirmed yet. I think we'll have a short-term sell. We've got a double top, risk off. But remember, you don't want to fight the trend, and the trend has very much been to the upside. There have been places to take profits, but the trend for gold, long term, is always up. So if you're looking 5-15 years in the future, you're fine. Short term as well. Last couple of years, parabolic moves to the upside. You do not want to fight a move like that towards the upside. You don't want to start shorting. You don't want to start doing that. Maybe to hedge your bet, but we don't know if the bull market's over for gold yet. Hasn't gone down enough to say that. Congrats on quitting the job, Sensei. Thank you, Dylan. Sensei, didn't you say you were pulling out of XRP around $8.80? Yeah, that's one of my take profits levels. I will be selling lower than that as well, and higher than that. Yeah, I believe that this rally isn't just about taking we'll keep an eye on XRP's price. I'll bring it back as soon as it's above $2.50. I believe this rally isn't just a profit-taking exercise for sell in May. I can't believe this rally isn't a profit-taking exercise for sell in May. Yeah, sell in May, go away. Let's see what goes on. I'm skeptical, but also fairly bullish on the markets, at least the crypto markets, the way they're looking right now. So maybe it's sideways action. Maybe that's what we get. Maybe it's not up, maybe it's not down, maybe it's sideways action, which is still good for the crypto markets. I don't think gold is a good invest right now. I don't think right now would be great to get into gold. Unless you're looking long term, and then it's fine. How did gold price manage to get so high, but the miners barely got anywhere? near to their highs when gold was much lower in price? Well, it's more because central banks were just buying up gold um, in unprecedented rates. I think gold miners are definitely undervalued, and they have a lot more upside potential. Super League Enterprise is down 15 cents. I'm not investing in gold as much as I'm saving in gold. My investments are vehicle to create wealth to buy gold. Nice, I think. I think gold is just a great asset to own, isn't it? It's a little savings account. Uh, yes, I also stack gold and silver, hold and trade crypto. All AX. I'm with you on that. Bitcoin to around 102,000. So why did they dump on Bitcoin? Wasn't the good news good enough? Well, no, Bitcoin's not dumping that much. It's not even down 1%, is it? It's down 0.28%. Bitcoin is not down. Sensei, has anyone heard from Jefferson Boots? Stacey, I actually got an email from him the other day. I haven't actually invested, but I sent him an email once, and he said that there's the last 2 weeks of the opportunity to invest. So that's I did receive that email from him. Anyone smell a dip coming? Don't panic until Bitcoin at 91 or below. No more dips for a while, says Jason. XRP will hit $7 by July, says all American breakers. Do stick with us. What we're looking at right now is XRP trying to break above $2.50, and around in 10 minutes' time, we will be sending you over to Martyn with the opening bell stream. It's going to be a good one. He's going to be up a lot. I wonder if he's taking profits or if he's going to be holding. We'll see. XRP, here we go. Is it going to do it? $2.50 on XRP. $2.50 on XRP. This can speed up now. This can speed up now. We're sat at $2.49999. We're trying to rate $2.50. That can really speed up today. Why is it dropping now? People are digesting the news, Moon. Small bags are selling. Small bags sold with Bitcoin pullback, held up well, and now it's going back up. We've got Martyn's next live ready and lined up. China, China tariff deal. No time to celebrate next. Oh, I like that. I like that. That would be interesting. Always looking ahead. Anyone else think SBC will start squeezing today? It's already up 7% pre-market. Hi everyone, wakey wakey, rise and shine, says Sub. Do we talk? Oh, I missed that. Do we talk charts at crypto anymore, or just very little? More S&P now? No, Jesse, we very much. I very much cover all crypto. If you saw our streams over the last few days, the crypto pump stream, the stream from last night, very much going through so many crypto charts. But it's also important. I mean, we have to look at the S&P 500, otherwise, that's what leads the broader markets. Which has a major effect on the crypto markets. I think Bitcoin will go lower, says All AX on the 21 MA. Trying to break resistance now. Liquidations happening like crazy for XRP, says Steve. Of course, people now start taking profits. That's just the nature of investing, says Saab. 1 million trades in a volume minute per minute. Yes, here we go. We're on the brink of breaking $2.50. There'll be a lot of trades around that level. Lovely start to the week, says MSK. It is, isn't it? A lovely start to the week because I'm live, not because of anything else, because you get to see my face at the start of the week. Mark Saxby's here. Morning, everyone. What a great start to the week, says Mark Saxby. Welcome in, Mark Saxby. Very, very good start today, isn't it? Gold top at 3,100 possibly. Morning, everyone. And of course, Sensei, thank you, Mark. Pump and dump. Morning, Sensei. Happy Monday. Is nearly at the end of the comments. Is XRP starting to decouple from Bitcoin? This happens. Bitcoin goes sideways, altcoins go up. This is not a major decoupling. This is normal. But yeah, they do decouple very often. I do love this show. Great information, says Jesse. Please do consider becoming a member. Let me give you the membership link there if you do want to become part of the family. But thank you. You said who would have said Tesla was going back to this price? Me. I would have said that. Saab. Let's XRP volume is great right now. Morning Maverick. We'll have a look at the Tesla chart. What's your opinion on coin? I think coin will perform very well on the long term. I mean, we're buying coin at $40. Abraham Wolf. I'll do two charts and then we'll send you over. One is Tesla because Saab is a bit surprised. remember when Tesla was going down, the one thing we kept saying is this is actually good for I mean, all other car manufacturers are going to be, it's going to affect worse than Tesla. And Tesla came back into these levels around $230, consolidated, went sideways, and now it's breaking out again. So now it's at $322, $348 is next. Downwards trend, double bottom, and heading back up. So when it was down here, if you remember me saying, I think it was on that massive day down, it's bad for car manufacturers when this whole automotive tariff came out and all those tariff wars were going on, but it affects Tesla the least because most of its parts in the US. Other car manufacturers are going to be in more issues. Tesla doesn't really have to increase their prices. Plus, Elon Musk works with Donald Trump, so at some point, the favor is going to be returned, in my opinion, if not already. So yeah, it is at much higher price now, $322. We got our first buy at 230. We were at about 10 cents off our second buy at 212. So yeah, it was very much expected. As it's not, I'm not saying I 100% knew it'd go to that level. We did have lower levels, but during those days, that's what we were saying about the broader markets and Tesla as well. If you remember, you can always go back in the streams and have a look at that. The next one was, let's go back to XRP. We're breaking out. We've just missed it. Here we go, $2.51. What was the other one I wanted to have a look at? Let me go into the 5-minute chart. Here we go. XRP is breaking out now. $2.60 could happen within seconds. Sensei, you told me that the sand-coloured hoodie got one a week after. Sensei, you told me on the sand-coloured hoodie. You sold me on that sand-coloured hoodie. Got one last week after you wore on your show. Brilliant, Steve. Yeah, if anyone wants to check it out. Oh, XRP hoodie. It's the one I'm wearing right now. Steve's got one. If anyone else wants one, you can go to the website. Here is the XRP merch. We'll go back to price action. I'm going to put it into the link. You can get a bundle as well. Let's say you want the jumper. You can choose your color for the jumper. You can get a mug and a t-shirt, and you get a very good discount that way as well. Here we go. XRP really moving now. XRP. We need to do an XRP pump event. Oh, because XRP is going up. This is going to attract a lot of people into the show. Wow, wow, wow. XRP, look at that. I told you, $2.50 breaks, $2.60 could happen in seconds. A lot of people getting liquidated. This is incredible. Should we put some pump music on? Let's see if we can pump it any further.
The year is 1991. Birds and people are living together in seemingly perfect harmony, until one day a young man catches fire. This is Phoenix.
Smash the like button. We're turning up the volume and we're seeing how far XRP can go. Here we go, XRP, $2.54, not looking like it wants to slow down.
Get ready for verse 2, Electric Boogaloo.
You see the truth behind the veil, and you know that they're just looking for attention. Prevail. Oh, it's time now, light your fires for ascent.
it is. XRP is pumping a tiny little sell-off, but I expect this pump to continue. What a move on XRP, breaking out $2.50. I'm expecting $2.60 could happen within seconds. We can see XRP is holding up strong. $2.60. Let's see if that target gets hit for today. XLM pumping too. Yes, XLM will overtake XRP in a second. Yep, XLM is going to go for it. XLM is really going to go for it. Oh, it's great to see pumps. It's always great to see pumps. Celebrate them for a little while, but then really get back to business. But XLM 41 cents is what we've been saying for the longest time over the last few days. That's only another 25% move to the upside. It was about a 40% move the other day when we were expecting it. XLM is up. XRP, here we go again. It's pumping. Oh god, it puts a smile on my face. $2.54 is where XRP is. SBC is at $3. Do we have SBC mooning as well? Wow. SBC is up 5.54%. Pre-market, again, something else we looked at last week. Potentially found its bottom. Wow. Yeah, that's incredible for SBC. At some point, there is a short squeeze potential on that. Here goes XRP. Let's keep an eye on it for the last few minutes, and then we'll send you straight over to Martyn, who I'm sure will cover all of this news. We might be back with an XRP pump event later. Who knows? Let's see what you guys want. Morning. Smash sell-off, it will keep going, says Steve. Small sell-off, it will keep going. Yeah, no, I'm sure. Look at this. It's going. It's just going to keep going. This is incredible. The wild and untamed Maverick lol. I'm watching you. Again, don't FOMO in. We should already be in. I'm already in. Everyone watching should already be in. FOMO is always something that catches people out. Nice thing to see first thing in the morning. So what we're going to do, we've got a couple minutes left. We'll keep an eye on this, and in 2 minutes' time, Martyn's stream starts. So as much as I'd like to cover this XRP pump, what we're going to do is send you to a more important show, which is what Martyn's got going on next. Trump-China trade deal. No time to celebrate next. So it'll be very, very important show starting about in a minute and a half from Martyn. That's going to be more important than celebrating the pumps. We might come back for a celebration, but here we go. XRP up 8% on the new day. Thank you everyone for tuning in. The viewers are going up. We're going to send everyone to Martyn, so stay exactly where you are. This stream will take you there straight away. And also, if that doesn't work, then there's the link is in the chat as well. So stay where you are. We're going to send you over to the next event, which is more important than this. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. On your way out, hit the like button. Do me one favor. Let's do it again. Oh, we've got Martyn calling in. Let me bring Martyn on the show. Martyn, welcome into the show.
Good morning, Sensei. Let me just mute you. I've got you open everywhere. Please, if you'd like to, if you're able to carry on for the next few minutes, I know this is your baby, and I want you to have the opportunity to get the most out of this. You brought me to XRP, so if you want to just quickly change the title, or I can do it for you, go for a few minutes, mate. I'm monitoring it. There's so much to cover today, but like my next video says, next. We're not gloating. We're moving on to what's next. I know everybody was messaging me this morning saying Martyn's going to be jumping up and down, drinking whiskey. Well, to surprise you, I'm actually not. 4 years of doing this start to get a little bit mature to it, I guess the way to look at it. Your portfolio changes, your principles change. You move into protectionism of your money rather than taking risks. And I'm now looking at what comes next. Today, I woke up this morning and basically won a house and a half. I bought my first house for 40 grand. And over the last very short period, I'm up over $60,000, which is a house and a half. Wow. So do we get excited? Well, yes, we can allow ourselves to get a little bit excited and smile, of course. But we want to look at what comes next. And you've given great analysis this morning on the show. And that's exactly what we're going to continue doing. Our investors don't just want to watch us jump up and down and see how much money we've got. They want to know how much money they can make on the next time it happens. So we're here for you. It's never been about me and Sensei. It's been about serving you. So yes, we can smartly chuckle and go, "Ooh, we made a lot of money there." But we want to look at what comes next. So Sensei, XRP is breaking out. If you'd like to cover it a bit longer, I can put back my show 10, 15 minutes. Would you like to do that, or do you have to rush off?
I will. We can do. Let's do it. Let's celebrate this for a bit. Just give you all the next level. So I will. Maybe 10 minutes time. We will send everyone to you just so we can
Spot
close
on.
this XRP thing off. But thank you very much.
Spot
We all
on.
look forward to your show.
All right, Sensei, enjoy that. Enjoy the moment. I'll see you in a bit. Take your time. There's no rush. We're good to go.
Thank
Bye-bye
you
for
very
now.
much. There we go. That was Martyn coming on. So as you heard, it's you can celebrate a little bit. You can be happy with your position, but what's next? And that's why we did the full report on the China Trump deal. We're going to hear more from Martyn's position. He's very much in the broader stock market. The S&P 500, as you can see, he's not gloating, he's not saying all those things that some people were expecting, but he's going to be telling you exactly what he's going to do, and he's going to be looking forward to that. So do stay with us. That will be in 9 minutes' time. We'll send you over to that. I just want to close off this XRP segment because, again, a lot of people are going to be FOMOing in. Remember, the reason I'm excited is not because I bought today and not because I've made 2% in a day. It's because I've been in XRP for 4 years plus. I've been buying down at 50 cents, 60 cents. I've been covering it at $2, $2. Then that final breakout where we were live on the show and we bought at $1.71. That's why I'm excited, not because I'm trading it today and all this sort of stuff. This is years in the making. This is years of research. This is years of dedication, and it's and that's why we are excited today. But if you're just getting into this now, I would be concerned. If you're looking long term, then you're fine. Again, nothing I'm saying is financial advice. This is just my thoughts and opinions only. But there it is. It's getting in now is much harder than if you were getting in before. You're taking on more risk. If your average price is above $2, you're taking on more risk. I'm not saying it's not going to go to $10, but your risk is much higher. The risk to reward ratio is much higher if you're getting in now, especially on a pump. Reasons being FOMO, emotions, trade high, and then you start making rash decisions, and then you buy at the top, you sell at the bottom. You make bad decisions when you're emotional, and I've been in the position where I've seen things pump and I've bought in, and then it's gone straight back down. I've also seen things pump and I've bought in and I've made more money, but then I forgot to sell at the end. So you have to have a plan in place. This doesn't happen overnight. This is not a get rich quick scheme. It is the closest thing we have to it is basically crypto because it's a new and emerging market, but it requires dedication. It requires a plan in place. So if you have a plan in place, that's good. Right now, I wouldn't be trading this. There's no trade to be taken. Um, I'm excited, but I'm not FOMO. I'm excited. I'm not making any rash decisions. If anything, a trader would be looking at this, and if they bought when we were buying, they'll be selling because it's up so much in a day, and you want to you'd rather sell on the green days than on the red days. So that's that side put to a side. But also, what I'm going to tell you about XRP is we've broken $2.50. If we break $2.50, $2.62 is next. So that's my next target. Let's see how we exit there. There'll be profit taking at $2.62 in my opinion. And then there's not many resistance levels left for the rest of the bull market, which hopefully will occur. $4, $5, $10, $8, all those targets are in place. But let's take it one step at a time. Today's a good day. Don't FOMO in. Have a clear plan. What do you want to happen out of it? All those things are important. How long have you been in the market? What's your average price? What's your plan? How much do you want to make? Where are you going to sell? You need to have the answers to all those questions before you start celebrating. The reason I'm celebrating is because I've got a plan in place. I've done the hard work. I can sit back and relax a little bit while it goes up, while diligently keeping an eye on the markets. Are major trends changing? What's the short-term trend? What's the medium-term trend? What's my take profit levels? What's my exit strategy? And that's what I'll continue to update you guys with, continue to share with you, and that's what we're going to do. So there you go, XRP breaking out, $2.54. Congratulations to anyone who's in that trade. Do hit the like button. Do subscribe if you haven't done so already. We are going to send you over to Martyn in just a few minutes. So let me just have a final look at your comments, see what everyone's reaction is to this. It's moving so fast. Yes, it will. It does move fast. I mean, we'll see potentially. I mean, XLM will probably start moving as well, very fast as well. 200% pumps seem unrealistic when watching these exciting 5% pumps, says Motto A Team. They compound though, Motto A Team, they do compound. At this rate, we'll see $2.60 in 10 minutes. Yes, yes, that is funny, isn't it? Pump, pump, pump. It's going to come down. Might come back down to $2.50, but it's broken out, so there's no evidence to suggest that. Do you think XRP will drop once it hits $3? Yeah, there'll be resistance at $3. I don't think it will come all the way back down to $2 though. I think this time we'll break out if the border markets are performing well. There are way better options in XRP. For example, TARS. No, I don't know if that's a scam or not. So I don't know. Do your own research. Sensei loves to fiddle with the trend. Zoom in, zoom out. Haha, getting me dizzy. Sorry, David. I'll make sure to not do that. I love it when a plan comes together, says Brian Brynham. Yes, it's amazing. It's hard work, and finally your plan comes into fruition, and we're getting new highs in XRP. XRP to the moon. XRP is pretty much the best crypto out there for utility value for the world. What's your thoughts, Sensei? I completely agree. JJ Bull, you've lost your badge. Let me give you the. I don't know if you've done it on purpose or not. If it's not, if you want to become a member, there is your link. Oh, here we go. This is the results of our poll. What do you think happens after this Chinese deal rally? We're just getting started. 71% profit taking, coming 19% sideways on here. Major reversal. See, what's concerning is the low amount of votes on these things. This shows emotion. Rally's just getting started. That could be the case, but when 71% of people say that on a green day, it's a bit concerning, because if we did that poll on the day we were down and we were digging the ditches and we were buying at a 50% decrease, so when Martyn was live, when we did that live, I guarantee you that everyone would be saying it's going to continue going down, and it'll be the other way around. So it gives you a good idea of what the sentiment is out there. Rally's just getting started. Too many people are saying that. I'm not saying that's not going to occur, but this is we don't know. We don't know, and it's concerning that only 4% of people that say major reversal soon. I don't think there will be a major reversal, but there is a good shot of a major reversal sideways. From what this should really look like is 25% for each. That would be what it should look like. It just shows emotions are high for a lot of investors. No worries, buddy. It's fun to watch you excited. Oh, JJ Ball is back. I love it. It must have been an accident. Buy and hold strategy for XRP. Sensei, it's not a scam. Just open that. Yeah, Mr. Clockwork, I don't have time to do that. I'm not wasting my time with XRP. XRP has got one of the best utilities out there. What do you think your poll vote is? I would probably vote profits taking incoming / sideways action. Not because I don't think it's going to continue going up. I just the days like this isn't when you start predicting the market's going to have a big rally. This is not the day to start saying the massive rally is occurring. I don't think. Profit taking, my badge should be back. Yes, it is. JJ Ball, you're back. I voted to take profits. There's no long-term confirmation. Okay. So XRP highs of the day, multi-month highs. We're looking at the highest price since March the 19th, 2025. If we hit $2.60, will be the highest prices since March the 7th. So multi-month highs on XRP, and I think it's just it's just getting started. And what I mean by that is $2.60 will be next, and we'll continue to monitor it. But we have seen a bottoming out structure. I am very bullish on XRP. We'll continue to give you all the news as it comes. A lot of good news ahead for XRP as well. It's a little bit different to the stock market because it doesn't rely on tariffs and all those sorts of things. Thank you, everyone. Stay exactly where you are. This stream is going to take you to a more important stream than mine. I can guarantee you that it's going to be Martyn, who's fully invested, all in on the stock market. He's going to be telling you his exact thoughts. Trump China deal, no time to celebrate next. So there's going to be a lot of great information there. So stay where you are. Click on the link to take you there, or this stream will take you automatically there. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in once again to my morning show. I'm here at the same time every single day. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye bye.